Good morning students, welcome here in this video tutorial. Today I am going to explain chapter number 2 from your history, and the name of the chapter is From Trade to Territory. So here as you can see the name of the chapter, it means from trade. And what's the meaning of the trade? Trade means the buying or selling of goods or services. Which thing? Buying or selling of goods or services between people or countries. And what about the meaning of the territory? Territory, an area of land, okay, that belongs to the one country. This refers to the territory, okay, over which control of the state is exercised. So in this chapter we will learn about the company. Which company? The company established power. So which company? About Britishers. So Britishers came here in our India for the purpose of the trade. But from which things they did that time? Territory. So from trade to territory. Britishers आए हमारी कंट्री में ट्रेड के पर्पस से, बट उन्होंने यहाँ अपनी टेरिटरी कर ली, यहाँ के उन्होंने लैंड पे अपनी एक्सरसाइज कर ली. सो इन दिस चैप्टर वी विल स्टडी ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स. So in this chapter we will cover some of the subtopics also, just like East India Company comes east, then company rule expands, and then setting up a new administration. Under the topic of the East India Company comes east, we will study some of the another topics also, just like East India Company begins trade in Bengal, then how trade led to battles, and we will learn about the Battle of Plassey. Then under company rule expands, we will discuss some topics just like Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore, war with the Marathas, the claim to paramountcy, the doctrine of lapse. And under the topic setting up a new administration, we will discuss just like the company army, and at last we will discuss about conclusion of this chapter also. So now let's begin our chapter with first topic, East India Company comes east. So the British originally came as a small trading company, but then they transferred टू अ टेरिटोरियल कॉलोनियल पावर. जब ब्रिटिश आपकी कंट्री में आई तो दैट टाइम फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ विजिटिंग ओनली स्मॉल ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज, बट आफ्टर दिस उन्होंने क्या करा? दे ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड टू अ टेरिटोरियल कॉलोनियल पावर. ओके, नाउ औरंगजेब. ओके, Aurangzeb was the last of the powerful Mughal rulers. Here this thing is very important. Who was the last of the powerful Mughal rulers? Aurangzeb. Okay, then he established control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India. Then after his death, after his death in 1707, okay, many Mughal governors just like Subedars and big Zamidar began asserting their authority and establishing regional किंगडम्स. जस्ट लाइक उन्होंने करना स्टार्ट कर दिया. जब उसकी डेथ हो गई औरंगज़ेब की, तो जो अलग और मुगल गवर्नर्स थे, व्हाट दे कॉल सूबेदार्स एंड बिग जमींदार, एमर्ज इन वेरियस पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया. वो एमरजेंस करने लगे, अपनी चलाने लगे कि अब हम किसी की रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन नहीं मानेंगे. ठीक है. देन फॉर दिस दिल्ली कुड नो लॉन्गर फंक्शन एज एन इफेक्टिव सेंटर. Okay, by the second half of the 18th century, a new power was emerging. That's why by the second half of 18th century, however, a new power was emerging on the political, which thing? Yes, political and all. Which thing emerging? Just like the British. So did you know that the British originally came a small trading company and were relevant to the acquired territories. एक छोटी सी ट्रेडिंग कंपनी बन के आए, उसके बाद पूरी ही acquired territories उन्होंने अपने अंडर ले ली. How then did they come to be masters of a vast empire? In this chapter we will learn how this came about. Just look at the picture also, beta. It is given in your page number 9. Okay, figure 1 of this chapter. As you can see here, Bahadur Shah Zafar. Okay, person standing over here. And what is the name? Bahadur Shah Zafar and his sons. Son also, as you can see. Okay, his son. So Bahadur Shah Zafar and his sons being arrested by Captain Hodgson. Okay, arrested by whom? Captain Hodgson. After Aurangzeb, there was no powerful Mughal ruler, but Mughal Empire continued by symbolically important. In fact, a massive rebellion against British rule broke out in the 1857. So, Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal emperor at the time, was seen as the natural leader. Once the revolt was put down by the company, Bahadur Shah Zafar was forced to leave the kingdom and his sons were shot in cold blood. गोली मार दी गई थी उनके बच्चों को. Now look at the topic. The first topic, East India Company comes east. So when, yes, in 1600, East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth. Okay, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. So in 1600, क्वीन एलिजाबेथ जो थी उन्होंने ग्रांटेड किया एक रॉयल चार्टर टू द ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को, जो ट्रेड करे किसके साथ? ट्रेड विद द ईस्ट. So what do you understand by charter? A charter is the grant of authority of rights. Okay. Then what? The stating that the grantor formally recognizes the prerogative of the recipient to exercise the right specified. So, for this, you can say like this, weird thing. This means that no other trading company in England could compete with the East India Company. कोई भी इंग्लैंड की अदर ट्रेडिंग कंपनी जो है ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के साथ compete नहीं करेगी. ठीक है. Then with this charter, the company could venture across the ocean looking for new land from which it could buy goods at a cheap price and carry them back to Europe to sell a higher price. The company did not have a fair competition from other English trading companies. Company को royal charter they received from whom? From Queen Elizabeth. So उनको कोई fair ही नहीं था, डर नहीं था कि कोई competition करेगा उनके साथ other English companies. And mercantile trading companies in those days made profit primarily by excluding competition so that they could buy cheap and sell dear. सस्ते में खरीदते थे जो ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज थी, मर्केंटाइल ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज सस्ते में खरीदते थे एंड सेल डियर. इट मीन्स बहुत हाई प्राइस में. मर्केंटाइल, लिसन वेरी केयरफुली बेटा, न्यू वर्ड कम हियर. A business enterprise that makes profit primarily through trade. Okay, which enterprise? Yes, a business enterprise that makes profit primarily through trade, buying good cheap and selling them at higher prices. For this, however, the other European powers started entering the eastern markets. और भी जो आपकी यूरोपियन पावर हैं वो ईस्टर्न मार्केट में आना स्टार्ट हो गई. Even you can say that by the time the first English ship sailed down the west coast of Africa, where, yes, west coast of Africa, round the Cape of Good Hope and crossed the Indian Ocean. Here, as you can see, Indian Ocean. And the Portuguese, here as you can see, the Portuguese established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. Portuguese तो पहले ही अपना जो उनका base Goa. In fact, you can say that Vasco da Gama. Yes, it was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer who had discovered the sea route to India and went in 1498. Okay. Even by the early 17th century, the Dutch too were exploring the possibility of trade in the Indian Ocean. Dutch भी अब इंटरेस्ट लेने लगे कि 17th century में हमें भी ट्रेड स्टार्ट करना है. To whom? To with India. As you can see here in this map also, routes to India in the 18th century. Just here you can see British Island, then Africa continent here, then Cape of Good Hope, then here Bombay, then India, then Calcutta, Kennett, Madras. Even after soon the French traders, Portuguese तो already came here in India ओके, अपना स्टैब्लिश कर चुके थे वो गोवा में. देन आफ्टर दिस डच ऑल्सो. देन आफ्टर दिस सून द फ्रेंच ट्रेडर्स अराइव्ड ऑन द scene as well. Here the one question also you can say that what attracted all these European trading companies? What? Yes, the fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. जो आपकी इंडिया की फाइन क्वालिटीज़ की कॉटन एंड सिल्क उसकी जो डिमांड थी यूरोप में. देन सम which thing, spices also, just like pepper, cloves, cardamom, cinnamon, too were in great demand. Okay, so there were fire competition amongst the European company. जितनी भी यूरोपियन कंपनी थी उनके बीच एक अच्छा खासा competition होना स्टार्ट हो गया. So for this competition among the European company inevitably pushed up the prices. Prices क्या हो गए? High हो गए. At least these goods could be purchased and this reduced the profit that could be earned. The only way the trading companies could flourish was the eliminating rival competitors. अब उन्होंने सोचा कैसे अपने rival competitors को हटाया जाए. So, the urge to secure market therefore led to fierce battle between the trading companies. जो trading companies थी उनके बीच में ही आपस में लड़ाई होना स्टार्ट हो गई. So what did the East India Company do? अब East India Company ने आपके क्या किया? So first of all, through the 17th and 18th century. Which century? Through the 17th and 18th century, they regularly sank each other's ship. एक दूसरे की ship को क्या करना start किया? To बोना. Okay, then just like blocked routes and prevented rival ships from moving with supplies of goods. What they did? Yes, first of all they did sank each other's ship, then blocked the routes and prevented rival ships from moving with supply of goods. Trade was carried on with arms and trading ports were protected through fortification. This one also, this effort to fortify settlement and carry on profitable trade also led to intense conflict with local rulers. Okay, local rulers के साथ भी अब आपका intense conflict होना start हो गया. The company therefore found it difficult to separate trade from politics. Now let us see how this happened. Now, East India Company begins trade in Bengal. The first English factory. Which factory? Yes, the first English factory was set up on the bank of the river Hooghly. Which river? Yes, on the bank of the river Hooghly, and when? In 1651. So this was the base from which the company trader known as that time as factors operated. Even the factory had a warehouse. Factory का क्या था आपका? Warehouse. Okay. The factory had a warehouse where goods for export were stored. And then it had offices where company officials sat. Then after this as trade expanded, the company pursued it merchants and traders. जब trade और expand होने लगा बंगाल में उन्होंने अपने warehouse establish कर दिए. After this what the Britishers did, उन्होंने क्या करना start किया? As trade expanded, the company pursued it merchants and traders to come. उन्होंने merchants और traders को भी बुलाया अपने साथ वालों को to come and settle near the factory. Even you can say that by 1696, by 1696, the company built a fort around the settlement. Yes, it began building a fort around the settlement. Then 2 years later, it bribed Mughal official into giving the company Zamidari rights over 3 villages. How many years later? 2 years later, the company gained Zamidari rights. Company ने जो है Zamidari rights भी gain कर लिया from whom? Yes, from it bribed Mughal officials कि वो उतना over 3 villages में Zamidari rights. So one of these 3 villages, one of these was Calicutta, which later grew into the city of Calcutta, or Kolkata as it is known today. After this, it also pursued the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. Yes, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb issued an order which thing? Yes, granting the company the right to trade duty free. It also persuaded the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb issue a farman. What he issue? He issue a farman granting the company the right to trade duty free. One word here. So what the meaning of the farman? Farman means a royal edict, a royal order for trade permission. अब उनको औरंगजेब की तरफ से एक बिल्कुल ट्रेड ड्यूटी फ्री वहाँ अपना ट्रेड करने के लिए परमिशन मिल गई. बट स्टिल द कंपनी वॉज नॉट सेटिस्फाइड. अब तक जो आपकी ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी थी वो सेटिस्फाइड नहीं हुई थी. सो दैट्स व्हाई द कंपनी ट्राइज कंटिन्यूसली टू प्रेस फॉर मोर concessions and manipulate existing privileges. Aurangzeb's farman, for instance, had granted only the company the right to trade free duty. उन्होंने दिया था कि एक ट्रेड कर सकते हैं आप जो भी ड्यूटी फ्री होगा. बट ऑफिशियल्स ऑफ द कंपनी हु वर कैरिंग ऑन प्राइवेट ट्रेड ऑन द साइड वर एक्सपेक्टेड टू पे ड्यूटी. This they refused to pay, so that's why causing an enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. How could the Nawab of Bengal and Murshid Quli Khan not protest? Is it? You can see. So that's why, for the reason of which thing, for the reason of they wanted to press more concession and manipulate the existing village, even which they refused also to pay, causing an enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. The unfair practices of trade gradually led to battles. So our next topic, how trade led to battles. Through the early 18th century, the conflict between the company and the Nawab of Bengal intensified. जब आपकी 18th century हुई तब conflict होना start हो गया between whom? Between the company and the Nawab of Bengal. So for this, whom? Yes, after the death of Aurangzeb. Whose death? Yes, after the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawab asserted their power and autonomy as other regional power was doing at that time, just like some of other also, just like Murshid Quli Khan, was followed by Ali Vardi Khan and then Sirajuddin Aula as the Nawab of Bengal. Which one? Yes, after the death of whom? After the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawab asserted their power and autonomy. With whom? Yes, autonomy as other regional powers were doing at that time. Other regional power bhi kar rahe the, just like Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Al-Wardi Khan and then Sirajuddin Aula as the Nawab of Bengal. Each of them was a strong ruler. They refused to grant the company as concession and stopped it from extending its fortification. उन्होंने बिल्कुल रिफ्यूज़ कर दिया कंपनी को ग्रांट करने के लिए कोई भी उन्हें कंसेशन मिलेगा और स्टॉप किया कि उनके जो एक्सटेंड करने फोर्टिफिकेशन उसको स्टॉप. द कंपनी वॉज रिफ्यूजिंग टू पे टैक्सेस, बट कंपनी ने क्या किया? टैक्सेस पे करने के लिए रिफ्यूज़ कर दिया. सो फॉर दिस द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट लेड टू confrontation and finally led to the famous battle of Plassey and Buxar. Which battle? Yeah, famous battle of Plassey and Buxar. Beta, for today that's it. Later on our next video we will discuss the next topic also, battle of Plassey and Buxar. Then we will cover other part. In video lecture number 2 we will discuss later on. For today that's it. Thank you all of you. Have a nice day ahead.